Morning folks, Mike with Chasing Trail. I'm on the way out to my dad's house. He's going to let me borrow his R1250 GS to ride down to Chico today, as he has encouraged me to really think about a GS for my next bike. So that'll be as good of a test ride as I could possibly get, as it's about an hour and 15 minutes each way. Hadn't ridden the Beta in a while, so I figured I needed to run this thing. So doing a little street ride out to his house. It's only about 12 miles. Hopefully the video looks a little better. My 890 demo ride yesterday, I tried to put in the camera at 24 FPS, but I didn't really like the way that looked. I had got the idea from a guy named Schaaf, S-C-H-A-A-F. If you haven't watched any of his videos, the dude's got some really cool videos. He rides a ton of different bikes. He's an Austrian guy, and he's an amazing rider, and he rides the piss out of the bikes on some really gorgeous roads. And he records at 24 FPS, and it gives this incredible sensation of speed. But clearly I am not Schaaf, and it just looked kind of weird. I like the 60 FPS that I'm accustomed to recording at. So haven't ridden the Beta in a while. Been actually almost exactly a month. It's just been too damn hot to do any kind of off-road riding. And the Beta does fine on the street. There's just, when I had the Tenere, there's no reason I would take the Beta over the Tenere for a street ride. The Tenere is just better on the street. That should not be a surprise. In any case, I'm headed down to Chico to the Harley-Davidson dealership. There's a couple bikes I want to look at there, and they don't really have anything to do with each other. So I'm looking for something I could do longer distance, all-day rides in comfort on. I've also mentioned that I like getting bikes that are sort of the hot new thing and in demand. And so the primary bike I'm going to look at, or I should say, the first one that kind of piqued my interest, is the Lowrider ST. It is a new model for this year. It's basically like a miniature Road Glide on the Softail chassis. It's a little bit lighter, at least by Harley standards. It's still like 720 pounds, but the Road Glide's like 840 or thereabouts. But I won't ever be taking a passenger. It has bags, has more suspension travel. I think it's got inverted forks in the front, so it's got like 5 inches in the front. Come on, Beta. She's climbing in 6th. It's got like 5 inches in the front and 4 in the rear, which is a lot by Harley standards. So I want to try it out. I also want to check out the Pan America. It's a bike that I think stacks up really well against the GS. So I'm curious about it, and they have one of those there as well. The Lowrider ST they have is not for sale. They're doing a custom build on it. These bikes are very hard to find right now, and you pretty much have to pre-order one, like any other bike that's kind of in demand, like the Tenere or CRF 300L. This is Harley's version of that. So if you decide you want one, you have to order one, and then it's a 1 to 4 month wait. Anyway, and they also have a Street Glide ST, which I'm also interested in. A number of people have told me if you're going to get a Harley, get the touring chassis. You're not going to be happy on the Softail, especially at my size and weight. So I kind of want to see for myself. The BMW dealer is just down the road from them, and they have a couple GS's there, both new and used. So if it's not too hot by the time I'm done at the Harley dealership, I will stop in there as well. I know what the GS is about already. I have spent some time on my dad's, not a lot. Today will definitely be the longest I have ridden it. But after that ride down there, I'll have a very good sense of whether I want to go for a GS or not. The GS makes the most sense from a practical standpoint of meeting all my needs. It just does not excite me in any way. I don't know if it's fair to call it boring, because it's fun to ride, but it does. It's like it's so good at everything that I know that doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't excite me as a motorcycle, and that's an important factor for me. I'd have to be excited about a bike, especially to spend that kind of money on one. So if it doesn't really give me a tingling sensation in my loins every time I hop on it, there's no way I'm going to spend that much. And I like motorcycles that look good, and I think the BMW GS is ugly as sin. I think most adventure bikes are ugly. In fact, the only one I really like the look of is the Multistrada. That is a good looking bike. The Italians know how to build very good looking machines. So we'll see what happens today. These test rides will definitely give me, will steer which direction I'm going to go in. I do plan to buy something in the pretty near future. It's just I've analyzed everything to death, and you know, I've learned that just buying things based on what's good on paper does not translate to what's fun to ride. So at this point, you know, doing the spec sheet analysis and stuff and watching videos and things can help you at least narrow some bikes down, and I've done that. So I've narrowed some bikes down. Now I just have to test ride and figure out which one's the most fun. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find one bike that really meets my ultimate criteria, which is to basically be good everywhere except for hardcore off-road, because I already have the beta for that. So I'm trying to find a bike that's good for everything else, from mild off-road to bumpy backcountry roads to freeway and long distance. And that's a lot to ask of one motorcycle. It may be too much to ask. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Who knows what I'll do? I never know what I'm going to do. What's fun and what I can get the best deal on is going to steer which way I go. I can tell you that I have a very good deal on the 890 if I choose to go that direction. So it definitely gets some bonus points, or if you will, or kind of makes it very easy to pick that option. It's also would be the cheapest option by quite a lot for the things I'm considering. It would fill all the gaps except long distance touring. I don't think that 890 is going to be able to be set up in a way that will be comfortable for me for long distance. I think I'll end up feeling the same way I did on the Tenere on a longer ride. And I would probably be using that 890. I think most people looking at the 890 are people who do hardcore off-road. I would not be using it that way, but I like a lot of things about the bike for my intended use, regardless of that fact. So whatever. Anyway, I'm going to shut the camera off here. I'll be back in a bit.